Well, it is that time again, everybody. Hope you are doing well. My name is BirdDog John, and I am back in action.
In those scenarios,
Yep.
it's good to neuralize the cameras. You guys know that best.
Very straightforward. Plug it in, go to the web UI, link the source, walk away. You know, like super simple. I keep looking over at the chat, and I keep seeing you are full of it. Tasty, spicy meat snacks. Covered in flavor. I mean, you can't go wrong. So what's going on? We've got a handful of folks here in the chat, and I really appreciate that. What's up, mate? Hey, Warren, how are you? Appreciate it. Hey, Robbie, how's it going, man? We were just talking about you. What's going on, Tom? Ahoy. How is it going? What's going on, Go Web? Good to see you again. Thanks for hanging out with us again today. Appreciate that. I feel like I'm in this video more than anyone but John. It's true, NetApp. You are, I'm going to cut this up and put this in the next intro. What's happening, everybody? My name is indeed BirdDog John, and hopefully I'm coming through loud and clear. How's it going? It has been a busy morning, remote sessions and testing things, and speaking of testing things, let's check the audio. How's it going? Hey-oh. All right, so it's all there, and pretty excited to be back in the office because yesterday I was out sick, and it was like a 24-hour bug, and yeah, it took me out. So I took the day off, but and still ended up working half a day. So because I had a remote session, and then I had a meeting in the evening, and I had several people overnight send me requests. So yeah, it might sound like I'm a little up in my head voice. That's pretty much the remnants of what's left. But I'm feeling great, and no longer having any real symptoms other than the occasional tickle in my throat and that nasally sound. So today would be the day for the RE20. I do have it here somewhere, but it is packed away in my bag, which I think is in the other room right now. So, wow. And now that I'm listening to my own voice, that's not cool at all. So let's see, how can I adjust? Well, anyways, let me know in the chat what it sounds like for you, because that would be great to know, a little bit of information. And as the title suggests today, we are going to talk about some of the new things that are included in BirdDog Cloud. And so we're going to be joined by Jake in a few minutes, and he is going to walk us through a lot of that demonstration. I'm going to let him do his spiel, basically. It's not a sales pitch, it's basically a demo as to how everything works. So I'm really excited about BirdDog Cloud. Cloud is ending up being very much so a major part of our ecosystem. And so if you don't know much about it, today is the day to join us on the show, because you definitely get to have a good exposure to what it's all about And there are two guys in this company that are basically the champions of this product. And one of them is Jake, and the other one lives in Norway and is usually not awake when this show is ready to go. So the main architect is Jan, and he is over in Norway. But Jake is stateside for a change, which doesn't happen too terribly often, because he is going everywhere and is everywhere trying to showcase cloud. So he has turned into kind of one of the main guys that helps us demonstrate this, and so he'll be a good guy to have on the show. And of course, it's always fun just to have him around. It's been a while since he's been on the show, so he's done multiple trade shows since we last saw him, and has had lots of conversations with people around the world about how this might be done. So we're pretty excited to have him around, and he will join us here in a little bit. Today's show is not brought to you by Stanley Mugs. Keep your coffee hot for multiple hours a day. Stanley Mugs. Get yours today. I should put an Amazon affiliate link in the chat every time I do this, so if you guys do go out and buy them, then I get a kickback. Let's check out the chat. Let's see what you guys are up to today. What's going on, Charlie? Hello, hello. Welcome. Thank you for joining us over on Twitch. Or as AICC says, BirdDog John. BirdDog. Interesting. Okay, maybe I am. With your congested head, it sounds like you said that you had a beating, not a meeting. Sounds fine, though. Okay, well, whoops-a-daisy. The other thing is, I am listening to the show through a set of in-ear monitors, and the microphone is being fed out in real time back to my ears. The issue, though, is that it sounds then like my head voice. So if I take one of these out, yeah, that sounds a whole lot better. And you don't want to train yourself with in-ear monitors, especially if you're in the music industry, to only use one, because that's not good. But in this instance, where it's just me talking, and once Jake shows up, then that'll be a little bit different. But if it's just me talking, then I don't really need to hear myself, because I can already hear myself in the head voice. And actually, it helps a whole lot to not sound like I'm all stuffy if I only have one. So let's go with that. Hey, it sounds good. Thanks, Juan. All good. What's going on, Zachary? Thank you for checking in over on LinkedIn. Welcome. Say hi to Jake from Aberdeen and Newcastle. Thanks for all his help. Yes. So that's part of the issue, is that you guys love to book his schedule, and so I can never get him on the show because he's either booked or exhausted. So it's a good problem to have, I guess. But yeah, so cloud is becoming very much so a part of the BirdDog ecosystem, in and of the fact that we're trying to, obviously you're turning video into NDI, and then you can use it locally without cloud. But the beautiful thing with cloud is that it's a really cost-effective way to bring multiple sources globally across the network. And so you can understand, if you're a small installation, that's fine, but you can understand why we would be ambitious about this, because the larger players all have SDI systems all in remote locations. And what we're trying to do is convert those SDI systems to NDI and then bring them across the internet relatively lightweight, 6 megs, 5 megs, something like that per stream. It's this really low bandwidth version, and converting it basically to SRT and then bringing it across. And there are multiple formats, by the way, that you can do that now. And you'll also see then, for example, BirdDog Play was always supposed to connect with cloud. And so on .30, there is now a way to link cloud sources, I believe, into the Play. And I'm just going to pull up, speaking of which, 1.2, as they say, 1.30. Here on my network, I'm running .30 on one that's out in the lobby. And this Play, let me go to AV Setup, NDI Selection, Cloud Connect. So yeah, the SRT option and the Cloud Connect option are now on the BirdDog Play, and that's great. But now we're trying to start integrating our products into the ability to connect that way. And so pretty excited that this is all now an option for folks. and that you might find the benefits of all of that coming soon to an update near you. One of the things that BirdDog is notorious for is, enabling features on products that we launch a product and then we try and, get it to do more stuff. So that has its drawbacks as well, but it's definitely, I think, a benefit in the long run, because when you buy a product, it's not just going to be that and only that. There's potential for it to be something else. And so products that are current, the current lineup of products, that's where our focus is right now. And there'll be more on that soon about how all of that will work. But the Play is a great example of this. And I think I have a Play in here actually on this television. If I were to switch over to this shot, this TV has a Play connected to it behind. So let me see if I can pull that up real quick. And I can do one better, and I can go to this shot. It's so funny. All right, so, and then I can put this over here. What up? Oh, I don't like that Windows does that. It does it almost by like default, All right, so up here in the address bar, we're gonna say, I believe this one is called Play 4. Maybe. Or is it unplugged? It might be unplugged. No. What is going on with this screen? Why am I like jittery? Can you see that? What is that? Is that happening? That's not happening in vMix. I don't know if you guys can see that. Is it showing up there? Maybe not. Well, anyway, it's doing something weird here. All right, so that's not the Play. These are not the Plays that we're looking for. Okay, give me 1 second. And let me just reboot this guy, and I will see. Oh, you know what, though? I don't really want to put that on there. I don't want to put it on there because it's going to jack up the, vMix. So instead, what I will do is I'll put it on a monitor that's just in front of me here. So let me do that. I will be right back. Give me a second. Okay, so pro tip for those of you who are keeping score at home. One of the ways that oh, that's cool. You can see the screen behind through my BirdDog shirt. One of the ways that I really like to manage my BirdDog Play units is by adding PoE power to them. And you might think, wait a minute, they don't have a PoE module in them. It's true, they don't. But what they do have is the ability for you to send power to it with a PoE splitter. And so you remember back in the day, I was talking about ordering some stuff on Amazon and getting them to split the power off and then send it to the unit. Well, I have successfully done that, and I run a lot of my plays actually now this way, so that we can just run a single cable to that unit and then it powers up. But it is an additional like 25 bucks to do that on Amazon here in the US. And I will pull that up so that you can see what it is that I'm talking about. But essentially, it is a USB-C male to DC 5.5, I'm sorry, a DC 5.5, 2.5 millimeter power plug extension, okay? So you're going to come out of the splitter with the DC and into the Play with the USB-C. And then we're going to use and this will be the only time I recommend this product line, a TP-Link PoE 802.3AF compliant gigabit PoE splitter. Okay? So if you use, the product is TL-PoE10R. If you use that, it gives you an option to send certain voltages to the output. And in this instance, we need 5 volts. And so we're going to select 5 volts on that little unit, and then we're going to connect our little DC adapter to USB-C plug to power the actual play. And now I have an entire unit that's basically operating on PoE power, and it works pretty great. I won't lie to you. I think it actually works pretty well. So I have it up on the screen now that I can see here, and it is pulling up an IP address as I expect. And so I will jump over here. What is this? Yeah, 1.56. Why did it load this web UI? That's very strange. Ah, there we go. Okay. Probably just a caching issue. All right, so on this guy, I am running 30. It is currently not doing anything, though. So let's go ahead and jump into that web UI. Do I want to save? Never! All right, and then I'm going to refresh. Now, somebody might say, oh, the device didn't auto-acquire the signal as it's supposed to. Actually, I updated all of my switches last night in the middle of the night. That's one of the things that I was doing. And so forgive me if all of these things didn't auto-acquire because a lot of the IP addresses were refreshed last night. So here, if I click on refresh and I pull up, oh, that's interesting. Do I need to reboot this guy? Restart. It should have taken it. It's a little strange. 56. Maybe I got an issue. Now, full disclosure, this unit is a Frankenstein unit. It's a Gen 1. It's not a Gen 2 with the fan. So bear with me. And also, I may need to actually open this in incognito mode if I'm not mistaken. Let's see if it's a caching issue, because I had that caching issue with the web UI not loading correctly. So here we go, AV setup. My super secret password, put that in here. Refresh. Aha, look at that, it's a caching issue. My own problem. All right, so I want to find the one that does say calendar, because that is our in-office calendar that we use when we send that out over Raspberry Pi. Oh, it looks like the vMix bridge is still running, which is on the machine over there. Maybe it didn't load. So let's try vMix machine P200 apply. Let's see if bridge actually is working. Ooh, it says connecting. Let's see if it'll actually acquire this signal. I should probably also check to make sure the vMix bridge is actually running, because I did restart it yesterday, so I could be having all sorts of issues. You know what? Let's just do 120. This guy I know is up and running because he's in the lobby, and we were looking at it today. So this one, there it is. Okay, so I can see the lobby cam, no problem. Now, if I change this to Cloud Connect, API tokens, select cloud group, okay, that's cool. And then if I say SRT, yeah, okay, that's thinking awesome. So now we can just use these as straight up Cloud Connect decoders and just put in our API codes, which we can ask Mr. Jake about in a little bit. So that's pretty neat. Hang on, wait a minute.
That's pretty neat.
That is pretty neat. Did you hear that sound effect? It says that the sound effects are on, so you should have heard that. Let me know in the chat if you didn't. Okay then. Now over to the chat. Okay, we're all good there. All right, so BirdDog Play on 30 now has this ability to connect directly as BirdDog Cloud endpoint, which I think is great because it's going to make these things way more versatile. It's a nice little trick that we can do here with it. Okay, so all that's working. The next thing I want to check is I need to go into the machine that was running bridge and probably restart it because it was restarted the other day with all the network switches and everything happening. So let's go into here. Let's go into here and we're going to stop bridge from running. We're actually going to dump bridge because I find that when you run NDI Bridge, and let me know if this is true for you, when I run NDI Bridge, it tends to hang up after running like for a day. If you click stop or close, it just won't. It's just like, nope, not doing it. All right, so encoder settings, we're going to change this to do not transcode, and I just want it to transcode everything that's there. All right, so that's now running again. So now if I go back to here and I refresh this list again, all right, and then, whoa, look at all these guys. So let's reset the list, okay? And then I'm going to refresh a couple more times. And we're going to pull the new list. There it is, Phoenix Bridge. And then where's the 200? Should be on here. P4K. Where's the 200? 100, P4K, 120. The 200 is the camera that you're looking at right now. Okay, so it is not... That's interesting. We made a change to the 200 today because I was testing DHCP reservation lists. I wonder if that has something to do with it. Oh, the calendar's working now apparently. So let's see if that pulls up. It may not. Support 120. All right, well, let's go to the P4K. Let's see if the bridge is working for the P4K. Waiting for it to connect. That's an interesting discovery. I had a customer that reported this, that he was trying to see cameras on other networks. Like, let me look at this real quick. Inside Studio Monitor, I'm just going to pull this up. Here, I'll put this over here so you guys can see. So this is the P4K right here, right? But here, if I go to vMix Bridge and I say P4K, is that working? It does not appear to be working. So I might have an issue with Bridge. I might need to restart that computer. What about, this is the P100. No, so none of these sources over Bridge are working. And yet, the Studio 200 is this guy right here. Yeah, this works just fine. So, interesting. That's very, very interesting. All right. So I've got a Bridge issue. I must have an issue with Bridge because it doesn't appear to be an issue elsewhere. But anyways, so this thing is just having an issue. Oh, I wonder. If I were to, instead of don't transcode, if I were to transcode them to HX2 or HX3, do you think it would work then, perhaps? I also need to, check the network connection, I guess, because I've got dueling cards on this guy. And so if I go to Control Panel and I just look at the network settings and I see which ones, are we getting an IP address, for example? Should I turn off and back on again? There we go, network and sharing. Yeah, NDI network, no network access. So if I disable and then re-enable, why? Stop it. NDI network enabled. All right. And then I stop the bridge, which again is struggle bus in here. This computer keeps asking me to log into my Google account. I don't know why. It's a little bit strange. Anyway. So yeah, Bridge keeps hanging up on me. Every time I click stop, it's like stopping. But why doesn't it actually stop? You know, it doesn't appear that like NDI Bridge actually quits. Okay, so if I now, okay, so vMix Machine is now gone in terms of any of the Bridge options that we had. So now if I open Bridge and I say encode settings, right? So I go encoder settings in Bridge, and I say, wait, NDI-HX is grayed out. What? Why? Oh, that's so weird. I can't even select it. Is it because I have this? I can't select NDI-HX. Bizarre. That is bizarre. Alrighty, so let's go ahead and start it on this machine. And now I will open Studio Monitor. And I'm going to say vMix Machine Bridge, P4K, nothing. Nothing. Interesting. PC John, PF120, so it's not even here. Interesting. All right, well, that's good to know. Seems like we've got an issue. All right, so I will get a source onto this play that I'm looking at here. I'll put the lobby camera on there, which is just a way that we can watch to see which delivery people show up, because we all don't face this. Nobody looks at this lobby when we're working. So it's kind of like the deliveries show up and they drop them off on that shelf right there, and then we're like, someone was here. So now we have this up on our screen so we can see who comes around the corner. Alrighty. So let me head on over here to, that was fun. Now it's done. Hopefully everybody's doing all right. Let me know in the chat where you're at, and I will also enable the where are you from item here. Let's view that in Sheets. And I'll put this here. Yoink. And we're going to make that full screen. Yoink. All right. So, hey, if you guys want to play along with a little game, we definitely, oh, that's, that's funny. We definitely do this twice a week, usually. I don't know if I did this on Thursday or Tuesday or not. But if you scan that QR code, your little dot will appear over here, over here on the map. And yeah, I'd love for you to check in. So this is just a 2-question survey. It just says, what country are you in and what's the closest city? So if you don't want to put your city, but the city over, fine. Truth be told, I erase the answers and we restart every week. So I don't even keep tally of what you put in there. So let me know. And if you, yeah, if you want to scan that QR code, let me know if you need it again in the chat. But all good. Boom. Ooh, South America. Thank you for jumping in. Appreciate that. What is that, Bogota? That's pretty cool.
That's pretty neat.
That is pretty neat. All right. And Hightstown, New Jersey? I don't even know where that is. I'm going to have to Google that. Whoa, look at you guys checking in. Belfast, home of the Titanic. Ah, Juan is over in Bogota. Welcome, welcome. Yeah, thanks for coming along. Here, I'll put this back up here. In other news, while we're just kind of getting ready here for cloud stuff, I am traveling again this weekend. So that's why I was a little bit nervous about being so sick, is this time I'm headed back to Nashville, but I'm taking the whole family. So this will be a trip, that's for sure. And definitely, what is that? Okay, that'll be a trip for sure, because the 9-year-old and the 5-year-old will be a handful, but they've only flown Spirit. They've gone on one, well, that's not true. My daughter, when she was really little, went on a Delta flight twice, but she was really little. So this, the one she remembers the most is the Spirit flight, and yeah, yikes. So this is a Delta flight, and we're good to go. So pretty excited to be taking them down there, and it's going to be a turn and burn. So we're going to go down on Saturday morning and come back on Sunday afternoon. So we'll all be exhausted after this trip, but all good, all good. It'll be a fast one for sure. So feel free to join us over here for with the I've opened up the Where Are You map. So let me know where you're at. Where you're at. All right, Jake will be just along. I'm just checking on him here, so he'll be right. He'll be right with us. Like I said, he's booked all the time. So let's we'll give him a little breathing room. And I'll put this one more time up there for you. I should probably extend this a little bit. I guess that goes away a little too fast. So let's check out my. This is a lower thirds option, and duration delay. Let's do edit. There we go. All right. So the next time we hit that, it will be up there for quite a while. All right. Well, let me know if you guys have any actual NDI questions, because the purpose of the show is, hey, what's going on in Los Angeles? The purpose of this show is to be available to answer NDI questions for you. So if you have questions about BirdDog stuff, NDI stuff, networking for NDI, any of that, we're available twice a week for at least an hour each session. So we want to be sure that you guys are confident and happy with your products, but also that you understand how to use them. So that's what this show is all about. So here we are, 60 minutes right here on BirdDogJohn.tv. And that's where we like to hang out a couple times a week, so from 11 to 12 Eastern time right here in the U.S. So if you go over to BirdDogJohn.tv, that's the YouTube page that this show lives on. And you're welcome to subscribe there. That would help us out big time, first of all, but also then you could set up your YouTube notifications to let you know whenever we go live if you want to or you don't. So all good. But there's a free resource for you. We don't charge for admission. There's no like premium subscription. Nothing. We don't do any super chats. We're not big enough for that. So yeah, if you go over to BirdDogJohn.tv, you'll find out basically whenever we go live. That's my channel over there. I'm going to actually go over to that YouTube page, if it'll let me. StreamYard's been behaving a lot better today, so okay, here we go. So yep, so we're up and running there. Definitely something is going on with the quality of this stream, and we talked about this last time, but I can't seem to figure out how to make it better. And I wonder, my only advocacy is that I'm wondering if it is because I'm streaming to Facebook and Twitch and YouTube and Twitter, and it's taking like the least, it's taking like the worst stream and just doing that for everyone. So on YouTube, it doesn't look great. On Facebook, I think it looks okay. I'll jump over to Facebook real quick and just take a look at that feed. I mean, I still think it looks soft. It's just not clear. But yeah, it definitely looks like it is. Yeah, it looks like maybe we're downgrading for Facebook quality. So that's unfortunate, because I would much rather have higher. And that's a test, right? I should just start a show and do a non-Facebook show. But some of you guys attend on Facebook, so although nobody in the chat is talking on Facebook yet. So maybe we'll do that on Tuesday, is the no Facebook show. And so you have to be subscribed to BirdDog John to see that. BirdDog, let me throw that up there again, BirdDogJohn.tv. You could definitely use your subscription, because on Tuesday I'm going to do a let's test no Facebook stream and see if it's any better. And if it is or it isn't, you know, there may be a way. Can I add a stream while I'm underway? I think I can, actually. Yeah, I can. So we can send it to Facebook, or we can not send it to Facebook and then enable it afterwards, I guess. I don't know. It just seems like it looks a little bit, a little soft. Hey, Facebook user, I'm on Facebook. You will definitely want then on Tuesday to be subscribed on YouTube, because I'm flirting with the idea. Oh, what's going on, Josh? It's Josh. That's funny. It's our boy Josh Bernstein. He's over there on Facebook. You shouldn't be on Facebook. You should definitely be on YouTube, because Isn't that your wheelhouse? Isn't that a Google form, a Google thing? I'm already subscribed. Oh, but then you choose to use a different platform. Well, there you go. All good. Awesome stuff. Whoa. Sorry, there's a lot going on here, so I'm trying to keep tabs on some things that are going on, but, oh, okay, never mind. But yeah, we're managing as best we can here, folks. And this coffee's almost gone, so this is going to be a problem if I run out of coffee before this show really gets underway. So the YouTube feed looks okay, relatively decent HD image. Not a terribly complex image, though, so it might be worse if you had more visual complexity going on. But yeah, it looks good. Well, I appreciate that. When I'm looking at it here and on the NDI stream and whatever, like the detail is like really cranked up. But when I look at it on YouTube, I just feel like it looks kind of soft. And what's going on here? Why isn't this working? Okay, there it is. So on my phone, it looks okay. It doesn't appear to have any bearing on how high the output is in vMix going into StreamYard. Doesn't matter if it's a 4K image or not. I'm still getting kind of the same result on both. So I don't know what that means, but I think something's up. I think StreamYard's not telling me. Facebook looks fine too. Sounds like your problem. YouTube and Facebook have both changed their encoding profiles in perhaps the last month. Ooh, potentially. Potentially. I'll look into it. I'm not 100% sure. But there is always that. Okay, that QR code that's over here, that is so that if you scan that, it's going to ask you two questions. Where are you? What country are you in? And what's the closest city to you? If you scan that, wow, that did not stay up there very long. If you scan that and hit submit with those two questions, it'll drop a little pin on my heat map, and we can bring that up here in a few minutes. Oh, there it is. Let me, uh-oh. Okay, here we go. So the duration, overlay in, yeah, something's not right here because I've increased the delay value by like double and it's still not doing it. So I don't think that that's working. Hopefully we can sort that out, but it doesn't show that. Any chance that you're seeing a limited bandwidth stream since you're streaming out and using NDI? Okay, so I'm streaming up to StreamYard, which is I'm using Chrome. And I guess I can look at my camera settings going into StreamYard. No, that appears to be fine. Cameras, sites that you can use them on. Yep, that's all good. So there doesn't appear to be anything there. That's an issue. I am connecting to StreamYard via the external output because I thought maybe that was it. As a matter of fact, the external output uses a lot less bandwidth than generating your own NDI stream. And then I'm outputting the audio for the show over NDI. So it's an audio-only NDI stream. I'm bringing that in over NDI webcam. I'm bringing the audio in over NDI webcam, and then I'm bringing the video directly in out of vMix as an external output. And that seems to work really well, but it does not seem to change the quality of the show. One of the ways that I was working on it was that one of the original concepts was I was going to use that vMix NUC machine to continue to load it up to StreamYard, and I was outputting the entirety show over NDI vMix output 4, and then I had an NDI webcam on that computer, basically decoding it to USB and then uploading it to StreamYard. So I didn't know if I haven't really seen a difference in terms of NDI quality. I was trying to offload some of the process on the StreamDudes machine onto that vMix NUC, the actual transcode up to there, and I was just remotely controlling it, but it ended up being too complicated, and I just decided, all right, I'm going to cut stuff out and make it a little bit simpler. So I don't know. I don't know what the answer is here. Maybe it's just something I'm missing, like simply, but there's lots of irons in the fire, and we will see. We'll see how that goes. All right. I think we are pretty much. I've got BirdDog Jake in the green room, so that's always good. And he'll just have him give me a thumbs up when he's about ready to get started. But in the meantime, so today's show is going to be about all the updates that have come to Cloud. And not all, because there are so many features in this package of software that, it's all about like workflow compatibility, right? So you have your sources as NDI signals now, and you're running in an NDI environment. Now we're talking about connecting them and, providing sources, resources, control, a whole bunch of things, all using BirdDog Cloud platform. So we're pretty excited that we're able to integrate all of this. But if you were to try and conceptualize all of it in like a video, the video would be like 45 minutes long. So that's why we have guys like Jake who are hanging out with us. Hey, man.
Hey, John. How's it going?
It's going all right. How are you?
I'm doing really well.
Good. Pleasure to have you back on the show. You're the star of the day here. So we're very interested to know a little bit more about BirdDog Cloud and what you got going on. But what have you been up to since you were on this show last? Like, how many places have you been, if you had to count them? Do you have any idea how much you've traveled?
Oh, too much. It's been really fun. I'm actually getting a loop back in my audio. So give me a hot second. You want to put me in the room so I change that up?
Sure.
Thanks, bud.
Yep. Whoops. That was solo layout. All right, here you go. All right, so we definitely are looking for. Yes, we've got the doubling. We've detected the doubling issue as well. So yeah, there is like so much stuff that's going on. Jake has been traveling. He's been over in Europe. He's been all around the U.S. I don't know if he's been up to Canada yet, but he has been to a handful of places, but has definitely put on the miles on the airplanes. So he's finally actually sitting at home, which is incredibly rare. At least I think he's sitting at home and he's not in like a pseudo green room studio. But it's pretty rare that he's able to work from home because he's normally on the road. So it'd be good to have him back on in just a second as we kind of sort out the audio stuff. In the meantime, folks, don't forget to hit up my little heat map here. We'll put that little QR code up here while we're checking on things. And this is for this, our little heat map that shows where everybody's checking in from. So feel free to scan that QR code. I'll just ask you two questions, essentially. What country are you in and what's the closest city to you? And you'll get a little pin on the heat map representing your location. So appreciate you guys for hanging out with us. It's fun to just kind of see where people are. I guess I could manually put people in on this too if I wanted to. So if I know that you're checking in from somewhere, then I could do it, but who knows? So all good, all good. Somebody is coming in from Germany, evidently. So we will see if that works. All right, let me switch back here and see if Jake is here. Hey, man.
Is that still going through? I am still getting a loop back.
Yeah,
Why?
slightly.
Why?
All right, let's sort it out. What's your audio pathway?
It should just be Dante going into DVS back into my vMix machine.
So we're hearing the vMix loop. Is it going out your master, or is it going, or do you have like an
so actually it should be direct right from it's so hard to talk with a loop back.
Yeah, or maybe it's the show audio.
Is it? Could it be from your side? Coming back through?
Potentially.
Because am I listening to your master audio? Because if so, then I would come right back to me.
You would be listening to the master audio.
So you need to set up a vMix bus with a separate output, right?
For
with mix minus.
Yes. Okay, hang on. Yeah. Okay.
Right?
I think it's, yep. Because you don't have this you don't have this happening on other folks. Where is this? I know where it is. Where is it? This one.
So what is it? You could set up an NDI output from vMix with, there it goes, hold on.
Are we doubling now?
No, we're not. Do you still hear me?
I think I can hear my voice in yours.
Okay, that's good.
But
I can't hear your. Perfect. You can't hear me?
I can't hear you doubling, but I can hear me doubling out of your audio. I don't know how that works.
Because you're not doubling on my side now, which is great.
Okay. All right. Then it was my digital cable. All right, let's go back to the chat and see what they say, because if they say it's cleaned up, then fine. Okay, Twitch. All right.
Let's
so somebody tell us. Yeah, somebody tell us in the chat what's going. If you can hear both of us now. Jape's lip sync is off, but there's no doubling now.
Good.
Okay. Well, that's interesting. No, well, okay. So we sorted the doubling out.
That'll be because I'm going directly from DVS into StreamYard rather than going through my vMix output.
What's interesting is I don't see a lip sync issue
coming in. Really?
Yeah. Well, yeah. From you to me. So. Yeah, okay, maybe slightly.
Maybe a little bit.
All right. Well, anyways, let's roll forward.
How's it going, man?
It's going all right. How are you?
Doing really well.
Good.
Really well.
You've been
exciting.
Finally at your home base for a minute?
Yes, back in the studio. So not in the green room. That's my guitar amp in the background. So
excellent.
Yeah.
I didn't know if you took a picture of your studio, of your home studio, and then you just put that up when you're not at home.
That would be a really good idea, but no, I like to kind of have that set up, and when I do my YouTube videos and tutorial series for Cloud, I kind of just move the guitar amp out of the way.
Yeah.
I think I might have just froze, right?
Yep, you sure did.
That's really funny. Okay, hold on.
All right.
Let's check out NDI webcam on my side.
Your audio's fine.
Let's see.
Oh, there you are. Now you're back.
I'm back again? Okay.
Yep.
NDI webcam. That's how it goes.
I like NDI webcam, but I've had similar issues, and so I only use it as audio only now. Right. And I output the audio via NDI, audio only, from vMix, and then I convert that over in NDI webcam, and it's so lightweight that it doesn't seem to be an issue.
Right.
But my actual video is being output through the external output on vMix, which is like a USB.
It shows up as a USB device, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. I need to be doing that on for my next session with you.
Well, and I don't know if it's better or not. I've been kind of playing around with it because it seems to me like on YouTube, the quality of the show seems to be like it looks a little like fuzzier. And somebody pointed it out to me, and I was just like, yeah, I don't think so. And then I looked at it again and I thought like, yeah, actually, you know what? It is a little bit fuzzy. So I've been like just trying different things, and I haven't figured it out.
We can test that out with like a focus chart, right? You know, essentially we can put that on a chair somewhere and then just run through all of the different transcode options up into, that's a fun little test to
Well,
to do
it doesn't even appear, it doesn't appear that there's any sort of degrading happening between me and StreamYard, but StreamYard then goes to Facebook and YouTube and all these other ones, and I don't know what it is.
What's happening? Interesting.
Yeah, I'll have to sort that out. Okay, so you are here to give us all an update on what is going on with Cloud, and so I'm all about it. We definitely need some education here on what's new, but also use cases and all of that. So I'm going to let you steer the ship here and tell us what it is that you've got cooking.
Well, there's a lot of stuff with Cloud. I mean, essentially, a quick overview for anyone who's new and hasn't heard about it. It's a collective platform for us to route our NDI, SDI streams, SRT streams in and out of our production facilities and remote locations, wherever they are, right? It's our gateway from baseband and IP workflows and connecting sites to sites. So I already have a couple streams coming back and forth from Michigan in your office, and I'm sending one of my cameras over to you guys, John. And it's as easy as clicking a button and saying, I want this source to go to this destination, and go ahead and route those. So if you want to pull up your vMix, you might even see one of my cameras on your side.
Yeah, sure. Let me do that. I can.
And I can show you how it's all set up and everything. I got a fun little
Yep.
virtual demo and everything over here too.
Awesome. So let me throw this up on the screen behind me, and then you guys can follow. You can follow along at home. Okay, so I am going to. This will be funny. Let's see what this looks like. If I cut over this, and then I can probably. Nope, that doesn't help. All right, so anyways, oh, there we go. That's what I was going for. All right, so
Sweet.
now we're going to check out our NDI sources on our network and see what's around. There's Christian Frink. Let's see what we have going on here. Oh, more of the guys. Team downstairs.
Should have another one
repair bench.
floating from Auburn
Jake's
Hills.
TF120.
Street Deck. Yeah, let's check that one out.
All right, so let's add this one in here. And then I'm going to go back over to vMix, and we're going to fade this source over.
Awesome. Right? So that's coming from my studio. And I can show you that on my screen over here. I'm going to go ahead and fade over to, let's see. Let's pop on over here, and I'm going to jump into my computer, right? So I have cam control running on my computer on my side, right? And here's that PF120. So right now, just as a workflow, I'm sending my camera from my production studio over to your production studio. And you're able to quickly add that into your vMix production by just clicking the normal and add NDI source, right? And so on my side, I can, jump into my exposure settings, right? I can open up that iris and we get overexposed, right? As I'm dragging this down, and we can see the delay, right? Or the minimal delay rather of how quickly I can change from any of my configuration settings. Maybe we want to make that black and white, right? Or add a little bit more color of pop to it.
Yeah.
So just like really quickly, it's an amazing way of just routing all of our streams from site to site. So let me show you what that looks like.
Sure.
Right. So this is the BirdDog Cloud web interface over here on my right-hand side. It's a web browser, right? So we go into it with Chrome, Safari, whatever's your preferred browser. And what we're doing is we're streaming, we have access to all of our sites. So here's Auburn Hills, your support office, so I can see my streams going to and from that site. I can jump into my production studio here in Monterey. And I have all of my outgoing and incoming streams here. And just being able to jump into an interface wherever I am in the world and route these connections have been incredibly advantageous, right? I even have a video coming from you guys, right? So I have an incoming connection from Auburn Hills. It's this multi-view. So what I can easily do is open up Studio Monitor, right, on my side. Jump into, let's see, once this populates, Auburn Hills BirdDog support, right? And then we got a little multi-view going of
you have Clay working and you have the lobby.
Exactly, right?
Yep.
So it has this amazing multi-view engine built in, right, where we can easily create streams that are necessary for going out to our audience, right? Right, and that audience could be anyone, right? That could be your production team, right? Let's say I have, 3 BirdDog cameras and a Flex encoder, right? That's on one side. And I need you, my production team, to see what's going on live as we're shooting, right? So we can jump in, create that four box, send that to our iOS devices with our Cloud Connect apps. We could send that to a web browser. We could send that to another computer like I just did and pulling in that stream into my production studio. And then from there, we can distribute it out to any of the BirdDog plays and decoders like you mentioned earlier on the stream, right? I mean, just having a little play, you can have your content anywhere in the world now.
Yeah.
It's not just defined to that local space.
That was one of the recent updates with like firmware 30, right? So enabling SRT and Cloud Connect
Yep.
on the actual Play units. Have you played with that at all?
I have. I actually have a
Okay.
video that should be released within the next, hopefully early next week. So that's already shot and loaded up onto YouTube. Essentially, we're streaming from BirdDog CLOUD, SRT directly to Play. And then there's another one with Cloud Connect as well. So it's, I mean, it's incredible. I can FedEx or UPS or DHL a Play that I pre-configure with as my SRT receiver, ship
Yeah.
that anywhere in the world, and all anyone has to do is plug in an Ethernet cable, some power, and HDMI, and you have your content wherever it needs to be.
That's interesting. I'm curious to know what like the network load is on this sort of stuff because, like you said, like you can ship it anywhere and it'll connect up and
Right.
you'll be able to view it. So when we're generating, is all of this being done at the cloud endpoint? Is it being done actually in the cloud? Like where are
Sure.
these encodes happening?
So those encodes are all happening on-prem, right? So
Okay.
what we're doing is we're taking, I mean, as you and our customers are familiar with, NDI has a full load of like about 150 megabits per second, give or take,
Right.
up until 1080, 60, and 4K, right? So
Yeah.
what we do in cloud are we transcode that down. We'll use H.264, H.265, and now a new update coming in Cloud 10, which I'm happy to share, is that we're adding AV1 encoding, right? So
Oh,
we
wow.
can do that AV1 encode, bring that 125 megabit per second stream down to about 5 or 10, or whatever compression ratio we want to decide, depending on the bandwidth going to and from our locations,
Yeah.
right? Because we are at the mercy of the internet, right? So whatever our upload bandwidth is from site to site, is kind of our network bottleneck. So
Yep.
having cloud on-prem allows us to transcode that into the necessary bandwidth to stream from site to site. We use SRT to stream, so that way we have that forward error correction to, we add that buffer in, so whatever packets get lost along the way get rebuilt at the other side, so that way whatever's transcoded on one end gets decoded on the other. So that way we have that high quality. And because we get to leverage our GPUs and CPUs and AV1 and all the transcoding options, we can really fine tune the compression quality between low latency and high quality streams, right? Because there are different use
Yes.
cases, right? Because
Right,
like
yeah.
sometimes,
Well,
yeah.
yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, sometimes you need that feed to come in as fast as possible, right? If I'm a remote PTZ operator, I want to have that control on my keyboard ASAP. And I can deal with a lower quality version for reference for that faster stream. In other cases, this is a broadcast tool where we need that high quality streams. So we take that encoding, make sure that it goes compression as best as possible, highest quality, and ship that across.
So in that instance, would you encode two streams, one for the PTZ operator and one for the final production, or
Yes.
would you?
Yeah,
Fascinating.
I have a few productions that are using that for sports baseball, collegiate, and softball as well.
How fast is the PTZ control, like it in terms of latency?
It's sub-second, right? So that's our Cloud Connect platform. So we, instead of transcoding to SRT, we do WebRTC under the hood. So that
Yeah.
way we get ultra low latency control. And through cloud, we can even just send the metadata if we want to. So if we
Right.
don't even want to ship the video frames and just send that control data, we can have that go through the link.
So talk to me a little bit then about the differences with the encode, like the bitrate encode, because I guess there's a little confusion around, and perhaps it's my own confusion, but there's a little confusion around the elements of, okay, so I'm going to do a 3 meg stream, or I'm going to do a 6 meg stream, or I'm going to do a 10 meg stream. Like, what am I compromising here between 3 and 6 that I need to consider? Is it latency? Is it quality of image? What do you know?
It's
What the
quality
actual
of image.
trade-offs are?
It wouldn't be latency, because that's all dependent on that site to site distance, at least over SRT, right?
Okay. Yeah.
So it's as much as the the bandwidth pipe that you're able to stream through, right? And that's an easily replicable test, either through vMix or something. If you want to, do a recording at 5 megabits, 2 megabits, 1 megabit, half a megabit,
Yeah.
kind of to see what that does, right? And keeping all the transcoding profiles the same, you could see how, you know, the image quality either gets better or degrades, right? But it all depends on, you know, like I said, that upload pipe. So there have been a really exciting projects, right, where let's say you're on site and this is a remote production and you don't have access to internet. What do you do? We have, I think you're familiar with these guys, the PepLink or PepWave network switches
I've heard of them,
and routers.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're cellular routers, cellular modems. They do cellular bonding as well, so I can have 4 SIM cards, bond
Right.
those networks together, and then that way I can have a tunnel for my my streams, right? So that gives us internet access, and there were a few productions that I've been on and that have 100% required us to have that on site, right? Because we would roll up to a hotel or a conference center or a production facility, and they say you have internet, and you get there, and it's 3 megabits, right? And it's like, I can't send that quality across. But I was getting better on 4G, right? Or LTE or 5G networks, right? So having the ability to bond that together, then as long as you have internet, you can stream your content anywhere it needs to be.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah. So were you using a bonded network at the trade show that you were at recently? Because
No,
you
I
were
wasn't.
certainly not paying for that, were you?
It was not, and that's the other thing, right? So we went into NAB New York. I had an outdoor 4G router, which I like to pair with our A200s and A300s because I can now, with our SRT and those cameras coming very soon, we can essentially have that be a standalone unit, right? And be able to stream that content wherever it needs to be, right? So I brought that one around for NAB. And you know what the trade show floor is like, and so does everyone here, right? It's a packed place. And it was so excited that, you know, since I had access to cloud, right, on the show floor, and you had access to jump into our BirdDog account, we were able to pull those streams onto your show. You know, I watched.
We definitely get to creep on you a little bit while you were sharing things on the floor. And I was like, he doesn't even know we're watching him.
Right.
But yeah, that was awesome.
No, that's fun. If we actually kind of did sometimes, if we had our NDI tally right on the camera, because we send that metadata across. When you pull that into vMix, we got a tally light popping up on that camera.
That's hilarious.
Yeah,
that's great.
So I know when you're live. It's okay.
Well, to be fair, I've only done it once to you, and so
That's
twice. But once.
Yeah.
And that was a lot of fun because I was like, all right, let's see who's around. And then we saw Robert, we saw Cameron, and then I was like, wait, where's Jake? And you were all the way to the extreme, like behind the camera essentially. And so we had to do some looking around.
And that was a fun day. And those trade shows are great, you know, like it's a really good opportunity to chat with everybody. I mean, everyone has their agenda, right, to jump around from manufacturer and see clients and have meetings and do what they need to do at the show. But in those 5 minutes, you get to really jump into, hey, what are the next kind of projects that are happening? What are you trying to do, right?
Well, that was one of my questions I had for you was, what was if you had to pick like the majority of what people were coming to talk to you about, what were kind of like the highest things that were reoccurring at the trade shows that people are interested in with cloud?
Yeah, a lot of it has been post-production, right? So we've partnered with Adobe, and we shared this at IBC. We have a new Adobe Transmit plugin, which allows our post-production editors and producers to collaborate easier. So we can stream directly from Adobe through BirdDog Cloud now, right? So I can take my program outputs from and timelines from Premiere or After Effects, push that through Cloud, push that through Cloud Connect, and then distribute that content live and in real time. So it speeds up the content creation process completely, right? So instead of having to, I mean, for my post-production team and my editors who know this very well, you have your content, you edit it, You have to render it out. You have to then upload it to Frame.io or whatever, content sharing site, or, WeTransfer, whatever. Wait for those
whatever you're
comments
using.
to come in, right? Wait for the producer to say, oh, no, shift that over, let's cut here, and, producer comments. And
Right.
then start the whole process over, right? So now what we're able to do is you can stream into a Cloud Connect group, say, hey, John, I'm going live at 3 p.m. Like, we're going to watch this edit. We're going to edit together for the first 15 minutes, right? While we're playing, stop me if we want to hit something that you see. And then if not, we'll just continue going. And then in that session, by the end of it, you could say, all right, let's lock this in and let's render it out and then push it out to, distribution or the next stage of the process. Right.
Right.
And all of those teams are looking for high quality streaming to their end devices, Cloud Connect, having collaboration with that producer wherever they are in the world, right? So they don't have to be confined to that same edit suite. I don't have to fly over to Auburn Hills to see our edit happen, right? And then, we take it a step further. We have Apple TV devices or apps, so we can, they can sit in their home theater if they wanted to and watch the stream, or they can be on their laptop. And then for the editor, if, a lot of these really amazing edit houses are now editing in the cloud, right? So they'll have their Premiere or Avid session up in AWS or up in Google or up in some cloud-hosted server.
Right.
And remote into those machines to edit. So what do you do if you're an editor and you need to confirm your quality on your reference monitor, right? You pull that stream back down, back into your production control system, and we do that through cloud.
Interesting. Yeah,
Right.
that's part of the issue is, I think, for people to actually capitalize on how much possibility there is when it comes to using cloud.
Yeah.
And so people say, like, I want to do this, this, and this. And so it's like, yep, we can do that. And then you kind of get it in your head, like, like products are built for a certain function, but with cloud, it's so broad that
It's a
so many
platform.
projects would fit into that platform. Exactly.
Exactly. It's more like it's your tool bag, right? It's the ability to have, what was it? Someone at the show called it like, the Super Mario warp tunnels of video, right? It's like I have my sources on one side and I pop out at World 3 somewhere else, right?
Right.
And then, with that and with BirdDog's expertise and our studio tools and our software, we added that multi-view engine in. We've added all of our streaming and IP knowledge into what we do, so that way we can really expand it to what it needs to be. And because it's such a big platform, I've been recording a YouTube tutorial series for cloud. They're all about 5-minute chunks that, the first part of the series is how to get up and running and how to start up an account and add your locations into your production ecosystem. From there, once you're all set up, I dive into how do we create these multi-views that I was just sending to you? How do we receive our content? What do we do with a remote contributor pulling in streams into vMix? How do we do this Adobe workflow, right? So I divide them into little chunks so that way you can really go back, watch the video, follow along with me as we're going through, so that way you can set it up live in real time. And that way, if there's ever any problems, they can email your team and be able to jump into a conversation and say, hey, I was at about 2 minutes and 30 seconds. My Adobe stream wasn't going out. Can you guys help me? And of course, us at BirdDog are more than happy to.
Yep. Yeah, that's no issue. We have some stuff in the chat here so I just wanted to bring this through. One was saying, we do multiple basketball, soccer, hockey games. Hey-oh, hockey. With remote PTZ operations, we use Parsec to remote control the local PC. We can use an Xbox controller and the latency is really good. Then we send the full feed via SRT to a producer using vMix. BirdDog Cloud would really help us.
Awesome. Juan,
Is-
that's exactly what we do, right? That's like,
Yep.
I know that workflow, right? I've done that with all of my other SRT encoders and decoders, and the thing that was missing is that orchestration platform, right? Is that web
Yeah.
browser for anyone on my production team to say, you know, I need this stream to go from here to here. And then now my vMix operators, we don't need to worry about adding in a new SRT input. We don't need to worry about what port number that is. We don't need to worry about the IP address. We can just know if we have a cloud endpoint on our production ecosystem, which can be the vMix machine, right?
Yeah.
If you have a powerful enough computer that's using that, or it's up in the cloud, wherever it is, you can run that on the same machine and have those NDI streams locally, right? Like
Yeah.
you were able to pull that stream into vMix in what, maybe like 3 seconds,
Yeah, it
5
was
seconds
2
after
seconds, yeah, it took
after
no
it did
time
its
at all.
loading, right? Because it's
Yeah,
on your
and
local
it's-
network.
Now it's an actual source, so I can just pull it like
Right.
it's a part of my production at this point. So yeah,
Absolutely.
easy to bring that in. Somebody's like, oh, I just threw that on. You can pull it down
Mm-hmm.
and all right, you can use it. So, and we do this, guys, because like this is, I'll add myself twice here, but
Yeah.
we do this because that feed, you can see the trees and stuff moving. I mean, it's the real deal. It's not a video. I'm actually pulling it down. I have a second Stream Dudes machine because, you know, that's how we roll around here.
Yep.
But that one is running the cloud endpoint,
Yep.
and my own is running my vMix setup. And so I have dedicated machines doing dedicated things. Now, truth be told, I know that machine is also running an instance of vMix with 4 NDI outputs and doing a fair bit in there.
It is.
So it's probably screaming right now, but it is definitely up and running. So, but that's a real feed. It's coming in on that machine. I'm bringing that across on my network. I'm adding it to vMix, and here it is in the show. So it's pretty straightforward. And once the endpoints are up and running, you can bring in this stuff pretty fast. We did not, Jake. We didn't do any prep, right? I didn't check the feeds. We didn't even check our double. You can tell because we didn't know the audio was doubling before the show
No,
started.
exactly.
But it's like that. Yeah, he was like, just pull it in. There should be one, and sure enough, here it was. So
Yep.
I love how versatile that is. Because it, you know, it's simple. The point is to simplify it. Once it's all set up, then you can pull in what you need, and it's
Right.
pretty easy. So
That's actually a perfect segue. I want to jump into something. One of the brand new releases for BirdDog Cloud coming up.
All right, let's do it. Yeah.
In version 10. And if you want a sneak peek, I'll show you now. What it is we have a BirdDog Cloud companion module, right?
oh boy.
So it's available now inside companion beta. I don't remember the latest version. I think it's like 1.26 or whatever it is.
Yeah, let me look it up.
Yeah. So what we're doing here is I'm going to switch over to my Stream Deck. All right. Let's fade over. So this is my vMix page. So let's jump down to my brand new BirdDog Cloud layout. So what do we have over here that's really exciting? We have tied in this companion module to our BirdDog Cloud accounts. So that way we're able to see the status and initiate the starting and stopping and recording of our streams. So jumping into it right at the front, my top row I set as my endpoint status, right? So I have my Monterey endpoint online, and I have that feedback, so that green light is on. My MacBook endpoint and my laptop endpoint and my Sheer Hadash endpoint are all my different production studios or different places that I have BirdDog Cloud installed. And now I can see right now that, you know, those endpoints are offline. If I jump further into my endpoint statuses, I created a separate page. So over here, I can see my BirdDog Cloud recorders. I can see my BirdDog Cloud DX, which is an incredible SRT gateway that we'll dive into. That's a big part of cloud moving forward. And then I can see my baseband transcoders, which is another new release where we can use Blackmagic cards with our BirdDog Cloud endpoints and transcode NDI to SDI and back and forth. So yeah, I can jump on, I can see my BirdDog Silicon Valley is offline and Monterey is still online, right? I'll jump back, and my bottom page, I have toggle streams, right? So I have my status, whether or not my stream has been started or stopped, right? So stopped is gray for me. Red shows me that the connection didn't actually go through. So that's something that I should check in my BirdDog Cloud dashboard, make sure that those streams are online. I know for a fact that I unplugged my P120, so that's why this is red. I also have my master PC screen capture going, so that's another exciting update to Cloud where we can do screen captures natively, so we don't need to run NDI screen capture. BirdDog Cloud creates its own screen capture of the desktops on your machine. So that's how we're grabbing the timelines from Premiere and After Effects. That's how we can grab, PowerPoint presentations and images and whatever's needed on that display, right? Let's see, did I finish up this page? Yeah, so I use my toggle stream button and I can go to see all the streams that I've set up through Companion, right?
So if I'm understanding this correctly, though, this screen can give you direct feedback as to like what streams on Cloud Connect are functional
are
and ready
on
to
right
go?
now. Exactly. So let's check it
Jeez.
out.
All right.
I'm gonna press Start Jake's Multiview. Right, we get that orange, and then we have that green selection. And then let me pop back over to my web browser over here. So that was on my, let's see. That was on my Monterey endpoint, so I'm gonna jump on over here so you can see what that looks like, right? So here, there's my Jake's Multiview, which is the name of the same stream that I had in Companion. I'll pop on over to Cloud Connect. For those who haven't seen this is our Cloud Connect group page. So it's a custom branded groups where we can add card images for the productions that we're working on. We can give them custom URLs and names. So that way, let's say if I'm doing a shoot for Coca-Cola, I can have, their brand and their agency and everything loaded on there. And then if the next day I'm doing a shoot for Pepsi, I can still prep each of those groups and be ready and stream into the necessary spaces, right? So I pushed that Jake's Multiview up into my Pebble Beach group. And here it is right here. And we'll press play, and there's my multi-view. Right? So BirdDog CLOUD's receiving.
Yeah, you're definitely adding something. You're adding something to your bitrate stream because your audio just cut out.
Streams and pushing that through.
Yes, there's definitely an added to your network load there because your audio bitrate went like way down.
The audio popped out, right?
So.
Yeah. Got it. Yeah, I figured that went on my side as well, so that's why I switched back over.
Interesting.
A lot of things running on my network.
Yeah, just a few items. It's going to be a brutal product that's so in depth like this, and then having to showcase every feature. It would be like you'd have to have every single bell and whistle available.
No, you really do, and that's the exciting thing about these projects and the things that people jump into BirdDog and talk to us about, right? So our team over here, people come to us with dreams and ambitions for a production, right? Hey, I want to stream, my congregation. I want to stream my broadcast. I want to stream my sports game, right? What do you do? How do you do it? And we have the experts here on our team to give those stamps of approval, right? To say, yeah, check out these P240s. You get a lot of great zoom range on that. You have great optics and quality. We have an entire ecosystem that's available to route those streams on that local facility, right? Which all of our NDI users know and love. And then now we're expanding it across the globe, right? So, I know guys that are doing global remote vMix productions, right? So they'll be like, the headquarters is in Berlin, and the vMix machine is in Colorado, right? So there's P120s and PF120s all across the world, and they're streaming that into where they feel comfortable, right? And where they can produce that event.
So if you wanted, so let's just throw out some use cases here so that people kind
Yeah.
of like can conceptualize this on a basic level, and then we can, obviously you can take it to get more complicated. But so you have a remote location where you're going to do, weekly you're going to be in different locations around the country.
Yep.
And so you're gonna do like a hotspot. Can you do like a jetpack, like like Verizon has like
Yep.
those?
I've used
little
them many
jetpack
times for
deals?
cloud. Absolutely.
Okay.
They're actually,
So-
it's a really good deal because you can get some unlimited data jetpacks and
Yeah. For like $40 a
stream
month.
away. Yes. And they're great.
Yeah,
I've-
it's basically just an unlimited data plan.
It is. It's
Okay,
kind
so
of
we're
incredible.
gonna go from.
I did that
how
at
would we do
NAB
this?
last year. It was a jetpack.
You'd have a
Yeah.
computer, right?
Yep.
So like a NUC or whatever you're gonna use. You'd have a computer. You'd have a camera. The computer would be running cloud. It would encode the camera signal. Could you set that up so that every time you turn that on, it just starts encoding that
Yes.
signal right away, or do you have to go in
100%.
and
Nope.
Okay.
As long as you leave that stream started, right, and let that go.
Yeah.
As soon as that NUC, computer, laptop, M1, Max, right, that
Yep.
stream, as long as it has internet, it connects right away. Brings that back into
Okay,
your
so-
production system.
So we take the jetpack, we plug
Yep.
that in via like USB or whatever, some sort of wired function, and then we're encoding, we're sending that up to cloud, and then on the other side, we're bringing that down into our studio onto a different machine, and that's basically decoding it. You can send that then to a 4K HDMI or SDI. You get that into
Yep.
your, Blackmagic switcher or whatever that
Yep.
you're using, or into vMix over NDI, and then you have your remote. Ah, jeez.
Yes,
All right.
exactly. That's the exact thing, right? So
Yeah,
on
I
that
just-
other side, right, if in your, because in your Stream Dude, right, in your vMix machine, you have a DeckLink Blackmagic card, right?
Right.
So we can do those decode right to baseband if you really wanted to, right? Because I know a
Oh,
lot
okay,
of us have, DeckLink cards lying around. So, throw that in a
Yep.
cloud endpoint and you have some more transcodes.
So you could put a deck link, hang on. You could put a deck link could you put it into like an external chassis
Yep.
and
the
then
sonnets
decode it
work great.
from cloud? But you can't go from cloud out the deck link, can you?
Yes, you can. Directly. Yes. So here's the
Okay.
thing, though. If you do that, right, at least that video or that transport, right, that one connection going across is going out to the baseband, right? So it's not NDI on your network, right? So
Right.
there's a little give and take. In that production facility, do I need both? Do I need NDI to float around and go back to baseband? If so, maybe I would still go straight to NDI. Oh, I think I froze.
You froze for a second there.
Let's see if that comes back. But in any case,
Interesting though, because how do you configure it to go out the deck link directly? Because that I guess is a new concept for me. I figured you'd have to convert it somehow through like a vMix platform and then output it.
nope,
But the deck link could take it directly somehow?
it can. So we've built that into Cloud. So Cloud sees that
Okay.
stream and then pushes that through. There, we should be back now.
Because I do have a deck link on the machine.
And I think we had
next
Christian
door.
plug in a P100 to that unit.
Yes,
at
you
one
did.
point. I don't know if that
Because
that
I had
camera's
to
still
buy,
online.
the little. Yeah, it should be. Let me open that one. I'll put it on my monitor over here. Whoops. I'll put
Let's
it over
check it
here,
out.
and then we can share that real quick. Outputs. This one. All right. Let me just load this real quick and see what we can find out.
Yeah, let's see if this is online.
And I'm gonna be like doubled up here, so this will be fun for everybody. I gotta go here. Okay. So if I were to cut over.
Oh, it's online. This is great.
All right, so I'm gonna add another version of me here, and I will make this one. How do I do this? Yoink, like this maybe? Nope.
Let's see.
I want this one to be like All right. Well, anyways, so this is looking at the stream, the bench unit that's next door. This isn't my vMix machine because obviously it's running a commercial. So I'm just remoted in is all I'm doing, guys. I'm just looking at it that way. And now we can. So this is built into Cloud. So first of all, that input that we were talking about, Jake,
Yes.
is going to be, sorry, my earpiece is killing me here. Where is it?
So
It should be called SDI1. I'm not even, maybe we took it off of here.
so I have it inside Cloud.
Oh, you do?
I do. I want to show you what
Okay,
that looks
cool.
like. It's great.
Yeah, let's see that.
It's really cool.
All right.
So we'll jump over to my, let's see, my Auburn Hills endpoint. Right. I've already created the connection, so I'll edit it over here. And this time I'm going to stream it up to our Cloud Connect group, just so you guys can see how we can go directly from baseband to a web browser or back to our iOS devices and still just using this Blackmagic deck link and some SDI. Right. So I'll jump over here. I'll click edit. Because there's a Decklink Duo card in that Cloud machine, it's the first things that show up. So I have my 4 Decklink Duo sources, and it looks like there's a mini monitor HD card in there as well. If I scroll down, these are all of the NDI sources at Auburn Hills, right? So there's your BirdDog calendar that you were chatting about before. There's Pluto Cam, PF120 over there. There's Brayton's office camera. On the Stream Dudes machine, we can see that my NDI camera came back in, and your vMix outputs, and even your TriCaster mixes, right? So if you need to send your MEs anywhere in the world, that's not just the main mix out or the main stream for distribution. You can grab those and push those wherever they need to be, which is really exciting. So we'll grab that Decklink Duo card. We'll call this, SDI in 1, right, from support, right?
Oh man, that's so stinking cool.
If there's audio channels on that SDI line, right, we get to choose our 2 or 8 channels. We can give it a description if we want to. I'll just press save, right? So now we have that link icon down below that shows that it's streaming. We get a thumbnail image of that stream. I'll pop into my Cloud Connect. Again, this is my my group panel. So I'll go into my Pebble Beach group. Let's see. Here's my SDI input 1 from support, and we have that feed. Right. So there's that P100 streaming outside Auburn Hills.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, that's it. Yo, this is so crazy though, because if you can go direct,
Yep.
that makes such a big difference than needing to route it out through like a vMix platform or something. So if you could.
So yeah, we could go direct. So you go direct that way, and check this out too. Let's say I need to send you a stream, John, right? So I'll create a connection. I'll do SRT. Let's say I wanted to send this camera through, and then I select that Auburn Hills endpoint. I can choose here on my advanced output settings, do I want to drag and drop? So I know Decklink 1 is being used. So let's say I'll drag and drop my Decklink 2, and I get to set my encode. So I know that's a 2997 feed. So we set everything right there. And then outputs directly.
Oops. Sorry.
No, that's all good. This platform is incredible. So we could go back to.
It's bizarre to me that's, oh man, that's like every time I talk to you, I keep thinking of like new ways to skin a cat.
Right.
I have a guy that's trying to travel around the States. Here's what I'm thinking, okay? So here's the use case I'm thinking through. I have a guy that has a studio basically in Nashville. It's one of the guys that I visit when I'm down there. He's got a studio in Nashville, and he does mostly a show like once or twice a week out of that studio. and then he travels around occasionally and is sometimes not at the studio, but he
Sure.
would still like to do something live and needs to do the main production at the studio, but then do his like remote stuff.
Sure.
And I've always thought the cloud is probably the place to do this, but the drawback has always been the hardware, and then how do you, like they're a Blackmagic camp, and so they're going into an ME2 constellation for switching, and so we would need to be able to get the audio and the video from on location across, and then out to SDI, and so we're going out Decklink or whatever. So that's the other question I guess I have is with audio coming across cloud, how does the audio element work? Are you merging that together on the other side? So you've got, let's say we got a P200 on the other side on the remote, and we got BirdDog Cloud running on the other side.
Sure.
How are we merging audio into the cloud so that it is coming across in sync with the NDI stream, or are you manipulating that on the other side in the production studio?
So it's kind of a combo of both, right? It depends on how do we want to get that audio in, right? So if there's a mixer on site, you know, I know a lot of productions that are feeding a mic or a line level audio input from a mixer into that P240. Or P200 or whatever the camera that is, right? So we embed that audio in time on that NDI stream as it's on site, so that way it's locked in and it's in sync and it travels across, right? For other IP workflows, we have Dante, right? So we have Dante supporting cloud. So if, let's say, the distance between the camera and the mixer is way too far, right? And we can't just run a simple cable from the mixer across. We can put a Dante AVIO or a Dante preamp that receives those audio streams. With the Dante license on that cloud machine, you can grab those Dante sources, merge those with the NDI stream as it's going across. So we're merging the two IP protocols together. In that SRT transcode, right? So we take those two streams, merge them together, and then push that across. Now, this is what gets really exciting. On that other side, right, we have an option of what do we want to do with the audio again, right? Am I keeping this as a merged NDI stream because I just want to go into vMix and everything's merged, or my TriCaster or whatever it is and be done with it? Or does this also need to float out to a mixer on the receiver end that's also running Dante? So in that case, I can take my SRT stream and split that back out at the receiver end, so that way I have NDI or video going to my baseband or going to vMix, and then my audio going into my audio mixer, or Dante-enabled receivers. So you can go to speakers, you can go to destinations or wherever it needs to be, or recording devices. So it all depends. I mean, that's the thing. Like, it does depend on the production. Like, what's necessary, right? What's required for
because we have
right.
We run
Those
these
are the
just so that
ones.
we have some sort of reference. Yeah, so these little AVIO input analogs, but you could get an input, and you could get a output. Ones of these essentially, and then you could come literally direct network into here, and just route the Dante. So route the Dante conversion out of cloud into the output essentially, and then go directly into your board.
Yes.
And have that channel independently controlled on your soundboard. Oh, geez, that's so cool. That's interesting.
I know, it really changes things up.
Seriously, because it creates a lot of versatility, but also like a sense of simplicity, so you can like set it and forget it. Question I have for you then is, okay, let's say my remote production is done. I'm bringing Dante over, and I'm converting it back to Dante at the production site.
Sure.
So NDI and Dante going across cloud and coming out the other side. If I shut all that down and I take it to my next location, I power it all back up again, does that all stay, or do I need to make those connections again inside virtual sound card or controller, Dante controller?
Nope, they're all still there.
Just all
because
comes back.
so if you can just have your M4250s and your Mac M1s or your
Yep.
vMix machines or whatever they are.
Yep.
I mean, because your production control room isn't going to change, so you can keep
Nope.
those routes there. With Dante, it's really cool. Let's say you unplug a receiver and plug it back in. If those routes existed while it was online, as soon as it comes
Yep.
back, it'll go back together. I use that all the time when I'm moving around my Dante devices. And I mean, the same thing with our decoders, right? Or if you plug in that decoder and that stream is still on the network, it's going to latch on
Yeah.
and jump through. So we have the same thing with cloud, right? And that's what the exciting thing is that cloud receiver, right? That vMix machine or that production control center that's pulling in all those feeds. To them, it's just local NDI, right?
Yeah.
It's just everything that everyone's already used to and whatnot. So as long as those sources are there, those connections get made. And cloud even has failover as well. So in my receiver side, right, if after when I'm setting up a connection to you, I can see all the sources on your network. So God forbid, someone runs over the LAN cable or a tree falls down and, the ISP goes out. We have a failover for that receiver side that says, hey, wait a minute, I didn't get my SRT stream, right? I'm going to kick over to my local NDI source, right?
Got it.
So that way the production can
there's
keep
another
going.
option
or
there.
It floats
Yeah.
back over.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yep.
Yeah, it's all very interesting. I mean, it's got my brain working here.
And it's literally for everybody, right? So like it could be for a small church that needs to send its congregation streams over to maybe the local community center, right? That has a bunch of BirdDog plays around. That way you can just stream from site to site and have that content where it needs to be without going to YouTube and without going to Vimeo and it being 20-30 seconds late, right?
Yeah.
And that scales up to the sport productions, right? So like having your remote cameras wherever they need, or remote graduations. That whole season's going to come up by April, May time, where you have your cameras around the stage, and you don't want to bring that vMix machine, or you don't want to bring the big mixer and the control system, and it's, hey, I just really need to ship my camera and audio feeds back to my production control room. Some of the streams that I've been helping out on recently, there's two parts to it, right? So we have our live audience, and you have to have your audio guy that's working on the mixer for the PA system, right? Making sure the room's tuned and rung out so that way there's no feedback, right?
Yep.
But that mix isn't necessarily what's appropriate for the stream mix, right? And say maybe there's a lot of reverb in that space, that in the sanctuary that they're talking in, right? But all of them are wearing close lapel microphones, right? And they don't capture that reverb. So what do? You have to have a different stream mix for audio than you do for the live one. So now with cloud, your streaming producer literally can be anywhere in the world, right? So I could be at my home office, I can pull in my camera feeds, I can mix the show, I can be confident that my team on site is producing what they need to do, and that they are confident that I'm producing what I need to do.
Okay, so like real talk then about this. What is the expected cost for cloud, and what's included? Is it tiered? I haven't even looked at like pricing on this anymore.
Right.
Do you have like a go-to standard, or what?
So
are you
right now
using?
everything's online on our website.
Okay.
Essentially, right now everything is endpoint based. So locations, right? How many locations do I need to stream from? We have a package which either includes one endpoint, which is very useful for using cloud to do your SRT streams out or incoming, right? So if you just want to be an SRT receiver or an NDI receiver, pull those streams in there. We have a package for one. We have another package with two endpoints, which is most likely going to be the main use case, right? I have a remote laptop I have my stream or my remote kit that needs to go out. And then I have my production studio that needs to receive that feed. So, and then from there, everything is a la carte. Do I end up having 5 remote guests with 5 P120s that are all across the country or the world, and I'm all pulling those back in, right? So then those are just extra.
So let me throw this up. This would be better to do it this way. Here we go. So I won't go into because I know that we're a global company, so we're dealing with cloud over multiple currencies and a whole bunch of things. But essentially there are packages and how this is sold out. But the most common you think is probably 2 endpoints, which is sending and receiving.
Correct.
Okay, so if you're looking to get into cloud now, the free trial still exists, right? To see if this concept would work for you?
Totally.
Okay, cool.
So we have the free trial available. That's the process of getting started with your cloud account, right? We want to get you onto the platform and have your account set up and start sending and receiving streams. The only thing is that it's watermarked. So the entire platform is available to be used. It's been completely feature rich. I want you guys to try it out. I want you guys to poke at it and create the multi-views and create the single ISO streams. And we didn't even get into recording, but this is an incredible NDI and transcoded recorder. So I can have all of my feeds on my network come in and then record those into my production facility. And send those to a NAS and then send those to producers. And so the production team can start editing. There's a lot to it. So I want you guys to try it. And then that way you can know if it's the right solution.
Where is it that they go to do that?
So that would be for sign up. I think there's a sign up. There should be a try now button.
Okay. Try now? Yes, right here.
Yep.
So this is the get started button that we want to use. And guys, I'm going to throw this
over to a new page
in a banner so that we can actually show that. Yeah, why didn't that show the new page? Something's up here. So, all right, this is the actual page that you're going to want to go to.
Yes.
And then, oh, it opened a new tab. That's why. Okay, cool. So we're going to add this one. So this is that actual sign up. If you're looking, this is where you should be going.
Yep.
And you can just sign up for free trial. It's basically all enabled other than it has a big giant watermark, so you can't really use it for production. But make sure that it works for you. And part of this is to discover from a support side if your networks can pass the information through the routing and the firewalls to make sure that it's all working before you buy anything.
Yes.
And so you don't want to spend money and start the clock on a monthly subscription or an annual subscription if you're not able to convince your IT department that this is something that you should be doing. And so definitely download or get the trial, set it up between your endpoints, and then go from there. Now, there was an additional question here, Jake, that I don't want to miss in the chat. Can I access the camera web UI on the remote PC to adjust exposure and color matrix?
I just did this on Broadfield's NDI November demo earlier this week. So what we can do is we actually send our web interface from our cameras from site to site. So I can jump into the web UI of my P240 and adjust that exposure setting. I was actually doing that on one of your cameras in the office. I was going to set it up for today, but it wasn't online. So if you want to jump over to that stream, it should be on Broadfield's YouTube channel, right? I think I made a link to it on my LinkedIn. So if anyone wants to follow me on LinkedIn, please do so.
Nice.
I'm on that platform a lot talking about all of these remote production and hybridized video production solutions. So definitely dive into that video so you can see how that comes across.
If you were to recommend, and I realize this is a very loose answer or a very loose question, but if you were to recommend a setup for a computer to be an encoder or a decoder, what are you generally telling people to use? Are you looking for?
We have a couple of things. Once my video comes back too, I think this should kick on. NDI webcam today. I'm going to definitely check out that vMix one. But in any case, the Mac M1 and M2s are fantastic remote flyaway kits. The Mac Studios are fantastic for those production control rooms. They're easy to get off the shelf. They're easy to, get by your IT or, procurement department, right? So that you can
Yep.
have that. We've partnered with one of our favorite team, the Stream Dudes, right? So these guys are expert vMix and computer
Yep.
builders. And it turns out that everything that they've been doing, for vMix and standardizing what those production ecosystems look like in that compute space has been exactly what's required for cloud, right? Because when you think about it, we're doing the same type of transcoding that a Vision mixer would be doing, right?
Right.
We're taking in those
Right.
high bandwidth NDI streams, we're transcoding them down. Maybe in a vMix or in a TriCaster, you only have a couple outputs, but with cloud, we're really pushing that boundary, right? So we can do those H.265 encodings. They're going to support AV1 as long as the card supports it, and
Right.
it's fantastic for decoding and encoding streams wherever they need to be. So if you need a cloud computer, the Dude racks are the way to go. And anything else, your mileage may vary. I've had some people be successful on Nooks. I've personally had to use it a couple times in my productions. I've used gaming laptops from a couple years ago to the things now to get at least like 3 to 5 streams going. But it really depends. I mean, this is a big hardware tool that has a lot to it, and it's as scalable as the compute that you put into it. Right.
Right. Well, it's curious that you mentioned the M1, M2s, like the Studios and the Minis, just because those you can load into a rack. So if
Put
you're
those
doing
in a
freight
Sonic
kit,
case, and you just,
Yep.
just Pelican case that wherever it needs to be, right?
Yep. That's a really handy thing. And trying to think about workflow, but like for the most part, if you were to put it into a Sonic case and then you were to have some sort of monitor included in that, so that you could see, obviously, because you got to log into it, right?
Yep.
And so you'd need that. But then once you're there and you have like your remote internet, so your Jetpack or your Starlink, as Josh has
Yes.
suggested here in the comment section.
Yes.
You
There's
could-
a
you could
big
go
Starlink
full
production
on
with cloud
and
recently.
just go full on Starlink, but that's what, $500 to start?
Yeah.
So
If anyone
know.
wants to check out a really incredible SRT and cloud and Starlink production, definitely go to YouTube and search 7 Days at Sea.
7 days at sea.
Yes. That production, PepWave, bonded cellular, or actually bonded satellite, rather, pulling those streams in. Some A200s or 300s lying around, and pushing those streams out and through cloud and Cloud Connect and distributing that content. So
Yeah.
it's a really
Well,
check it out. It's one of the probably my favorite YouTube videos that have been released.
Yeah, we'll definitely take a look.
So
That's good stuff, man. There's so much stuff that's going on. I keep saying this every time, we gotta have you back because it's there's so much to cover, and we're almost in at 2 hours, so it's pretty good.
yeah, and sorry I'm a little late there on that.
No,
I
that's
had
all
a
good.
couple early
No, you're a
meetings,
busy guy.
So there's that's how it goes.
10
No,
minutes
but-
before the show, I was on a remote session, so I don't even know how that one ended because I had to leave it with an
Right.
agent. But that's the
Right.
nature of the business.
That's how it goes. No, but for more information on cloud and this whole workflow, please visit our YouTube tutorial series.
Yes.
From there, I really get to dive in, and you guys can jump in and full screen that and follow along. This next one that's coming out is really exciting. We do those multi-views over to Cloud Connect, so I have those on my iPads. The video after that is Adobe and streaming. And the following ones are streaming to play, right? So I can't tell you how cool it is, John. I have my play, right? I can input my SRT settings. I have this act as an SRT caller, right? So my cloud endpoint is listening for this device as soon as it gets plugged in. If it
that's
has
so
that
cool.
outbound access, it says, okay, great, I got your stream and I'm playing it out, right? So this could be a very incredible, advantageous solution for those, those remote green rooms and those remote places that need to see the content. And this whole thing scales. Like, I mean, there was one production that I was talking to that has like, I don't know, 150 multi-views that they want to personally make, right?
Oh my goodness.
I know. There's a lot of streams. And then I'm like, well, how many? It's a lot.
Extreme.
It's extreme. But then plus the individual ISO sources. And then it's like, wait a minute, we have like 300 sources floating around that need to go from place to place. And like, as Juan was mentioning earlier, how like he has to manage his SRT individual connections, like having a platform just to log into a web browser and say source to destination anywhere in the world is, it's revolutionary. It's redefining what we can do in this space.
Yeah, it's definitely poked my creativity brain in terms of like how to accomplish certain things, because I think, the world of remote production is like here now,
We're
and
living
so
in
as
it.
cloud has developed and has gotten a lot like really stable and is consistent, and you're able to do things like power things down, power them up, and they all reconnect and they're all good to go again. Like that level of, because what we're finding, and like what I'm finding is the production people are like pure professionals as long as the gear works.
Yes.
But when it comes to like talking, networking, and like doing all that, like that all has to be pre-done, and then they can do their thing. But if you're requiring them to be network administrators and internet experts and all this other stuff on top, it's like, well, then that's out of their wheelhouse, and that's not necessarily where their talents are. But if you can pre-configure everything, and so then it's like just plug it in and off you go. Then now we can utilize the talents that everybody has in this broadcast production world, just because that's where they
Exactly.
are the most talented at. So that's the same thing
we
here.
did this
It's
today,
like,
right? Like my session, like I set up my routes for at least this stream, or for realistically, it was for Broadfield stream earlier in the week. I was pulling streams from support, and then I shut down my cloud computer. Right, I didn't need that up and running, and then right before the show, right before I joined, I booted that machine up. Those connections instantly started. I'm going to be honest, I forgot I made that 2x2 multi-view, right? So it was funny to see Clay pop in over there. I was like, oh, that's already on my network. Great, I don't have to worry about it, right? It's just there, right? And if that was already in my vMix machine, like as a source, or my TriCaster, it would just show up, right? So the being able to just jump into a production and have those routes made and be able to get going it's incredible.
Yeah, it's pretty astonishing how far this is all. Like, again, it's just like now we've got the flexibility that we wanted and the quality that we need to kind of have both of those things working together. So, do you know what the just one last thing before I let you go? Do you know what the bit rate was of that stream that you were sending over to me earlier?
The
which is
P120
still here somewhere.
Let's see. I'm gonna jump into it. I am sending 5 megabits per second a VPH stream.
Okay, yeah, because that, I mean, it's quite clear from what I can see, and it's working. Let me just fade this over, and then I will pull
that's still
that
live
into here. So so that's still live, and that's
great.
That's the quality that this camera is. So whatever YouTube's doing to it after the fact, who knows? But
I mean, we can see the dynamic range
expect
there, right? That's so that's my PF 120 shooting out the window. And I mean, I love that camera. I usually have that as my main webcam, right? Because usually I don't need pan and tilt on that, right? I just need a punch in, right, when it's needed. And it's a really exciting one. And then I'm using that for the top down shot for my other one. And there's
you're using a
NVIDIA
PF
webcam
120
again.
you're using the PF 120 for your top down?
I am.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I restarted my Switch last night because I did some like changes to our switches,
Right.
and so I had used this one, and now it's pointed in the wrong
And that
direction.
was funny.
So
Oh, that's funny.
it's one of those last things that you gotta do to. Where are we here? Wait, actually, that shot did not come. That's not the correct shot. Oh, that's weird. Okay, so it didn't come back after I did the Switch reboot. Now, I'm not using Discovery, I'm not using reservation lists or anything like that. So that's probably why. But it is here. And it's on my network, so that's really strange that it's giving me the wrong image. This is the one that I want. The IP may have changed. We will see. No. All right, well, I'll sort it out another day. Oh, it's because it's this one. All right. Well, whatever. We'll get it straight one of these days, man. It's not like we're professionals or anything, so we'll sort it out whenever that happens.
Oh, I like that shot. That was a good one from you.
Oh, and now my
the
screen
main
has
one's
frozen. What is going on here? Oh, you know what? Actually, this is NDI webcam.
Right? Is it?
It is. So
Well, there we go.
Why did you freeze, I wonder? That's so bizarre. All right, so I'll do this instead. And I don't know how to get me off of this screen. Anyways, this is my P4K.
Yeah, that's your P4K, right? I'm using that one too for my
Yes.
camera.
Yeah,
as
yeah,
well
yeah.
as for all the YouTube tutorial series I'm doing. So if you want to check out what that P4K looks like in low light, I have a black backdrop. I have one key light on the side that's has a large diffuser on it, and then that's hitting the wall and then bouncing back onto me right now. So I get that little diffused light. And then my little ghost halo light is that battery died, so I didn't have that for today's stream. But yeah,
That's sad.
but no, I really love those cameras. Like the P4Ks and all of our cameras now. Like I have, and I talk about this I think probably every single time I come on this stream, just because I'm all about taking that production quality to the next level as far as you can with whatever tools we have
For sure.
available, right? I mean, that's
Yeah,
why we're
yeah.
all here, right? We want to be able to create the best content that we possibly can for the stakeholders that are our, clients, right? For any production team wants their client to look the best in the best light and in the best performance and everything, right? So we do everything that we can to make that happen. And something that I've found really helps is adding lens filters to my cameras. So I'm used to that from my photography and filmography days, where I'm adding cinema lens filters, like with matte boxes and screw-on camera filters, to my DSLRs and mirrorless and cinema cameras, right? Because when you shoot through glass, right? When light comes through glass and hits a sensor, things happen, right? So when you shoot through a filter, something that I'm using is called a black pro mist. So it reduces contrast and adds something called highlight bloom, right? It's kind of the thing that you and I are familiar with because we wear glasses, where like the lights kind of, sparkle or things like that. They kind of bloom out. And that adds a very nice, rich warming effect, right? So it changes some color of the light that's coming through the lens.
Right.
And then, I mean, there's a lot of really cool things. There's like blue streak filters that kind of make that anamorphic look to it. There's something that's called glimmer glass, which is another one that I really like. And they all come in the sizes that are compatible with our cameras, right? So it's, I mean...
What size filter is that?
I think it's a 49 millimeter. We have it all on our website, right? On every single camera.
Yeah, that sounds right.
I think the PF120 is a 43 millimeter. But I highly recommend either like going to B&H and looking up Tiffen, Tiffen filters, and then going to the Tiffen website, because they show you examples of what it looks like with all their filters. So with it on the camera and then with it off. So then you can really see what it looks like with and without it. And it helps, right? It makes things look less digital, right? It gives it it smooths out like, faces and blemishes and things. Because all of these cameras, right, we're 4K, right? Things are high quality, super detailed. And, that's what these major video production teams that make, short films and cinema productions, that's how they take it to the next level. And we want to be able to have that happen here. See, that's exactly what I'm using, right? So you can see around that light bulb how, we have that little halo effect, right?
Yep.
So that's happening because, and then you can see as we go to a quarter filter, that effect is stronger, right?
Yeah.
And then if we go to, I think even one more down, we can really see the main effect of it, right? So that's a half. And for
That's
those
cool.
guys, it's really cool. I mean, look, it changes the skin tones a little bit as well. And it changes what, the whites and the grays are and how everything, gets picked up by that camera, right?
Yeah. Now, do you have to buy the specific like 1, 2, or is it like you turn it and it?
No, it's a
and it
specific
adjusts?
filter, right? So I think
Okay,
I
cool.
have a quarter or an eighth filter on mine.
Okay. Because this
That's too much.
like this is
right?
this is getting like almost too much.
It's
but
too
if-
too artsy, right? There's
If
there's
you
a,
look at
there's a spot.
Yeah, the hair on the gal here, the blonde hair.
Oh,
That's really where it's like
it's
evident.
shining,
Yeah.
right?
But like a quarter or an eighth is probably right. Because it just kind of like brings it out a bit.
It's just a little bit, right? It's just it's
Yeah.
it's like these Instagram filters, right? That
Yeah.
everyone likes to use. No, but it's real light and things that change.
Yeah, that's cool.
They have really nice IR, so infrared filters, right? So that'll block out the infrared spectrum coming into there, because what happens when you're outside, that bouncing infrared light into the sensor can actually change things, and it changes how things look.
Sorry,
It's all good.
This is cool though, and then customers have posted just kind of like photos and stuff of how that's all fit. That's so cool.
Whatever we have in like our toolbox, in our bag of tricks, right? We need to be able to pull that out and say, yes, I can do it, right? And over the past, 2-3 years, everyone's been saying, how do I get this camera feed to this person? How do I get it to this remote location? How do I pull something from a remote feed and get it to my production studio? How do I take my post-production edit and stream it live in real time, in high quality, right? So a lot of these questions and wants and needs and, things that take it to the next level, because, we know our clients, and when, hey, can we do this? Can we do that? We want to say yes.
Yeah.
We want, as a producer, we want to say, yeah, let me figure that out for you, right? Because that makes the job exciting. That takes it to the next level.
So
and,
if you were to talk about these mobile stuff, sorry, now I'm keeping you well over the time that I.
Oh, it's okay. We're good today.
If you were to, let me just stop this real quick and present again, share screen. So, like the mobile internet piece, right? Like that's a big part of all of this. And so somebody posted in the comment, hey, regarding the Starlink, the hardware is around 300 pounds standard with $100 a month mobile option, brings up about 200, or brings up to 200 down and 30 up. It's a nice piece of gear. First, we're going to see it in the first live production as a backup first. So,
cool.
With like this tool kit idea, because one of my hesitations with going mobile is like, what if the jump pack doesn't have great reception? Like, what do you do with that? And so you need, with Starlink, I think you have to have a clear view of the south sky. Is that right?
I think so.
And
I
then,
think that's what it is.
Yeah, and then they're professing that maybe you'll have 30 up, which is what we care about when we're in the remote situation, not any sort of download speeds.
Right.
So Starlink here in the U.S., $150 a month with a startup of $600. If that was consistent across the country, which I think it is,
It's getting there.
because
I know.
yeah,
They're adding satellites up there left and right.
but then like best for international travelers, mobile global is $200 a month, mobile regional is $150 a month, campers travelers throughout the continent, and then priority $250 a month. That must be in the continent, but like higher speeds. I don't know.
It's nice that
like
they have
I
the
haven't.
priority now. That's really cool.
I still think though, for like if you're doing 5 megs up, just like we were doing here with your stream, which I'm still pulling in, mind you, I think. Cameras, where are we here? Yoink. Let me go down here. Yeah, so we're still pulling this feed in. And you're only doing 5 megs. I mean, that's pretty incredible that...
Like what? I think I have
that's
20
what you would
up or something.
Yeah.
You probably get better with Starlink than what I have for my ISP right now.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. It's North Sky for me, says Ian Foster. What's going on, buddy?
Yo, what's up, Ian?
North Sky for me in Northern California. And I just found out it doesn't like rain. No.
Aww.
Wait, it's not waterproof? It's a satellite. How does that work? Do you have the mobile one, Ian? Yeah. What's the deal with that? I'm pulling down 132, up 23 at the moment.
That's
are you
a
in the
lot better
mobile or are
than
you
what
on
you
the
had.
home one? Yeah, that's true.
I think he had like 1 megabit up. That was funny. But
The signal
that's what
doesn't
happens.
like rain. It brought it down to 10. Okay, so the unit is waterproof, but water going up to the satellites. He's got the home version. Interesting.
Cool.
They're waterproof, but it's such a high frequency that they're very weather dependent. Oh, fascinating. What about weather dependency when it comes to like the cell phone data stuff then? Anybody have any experience with that? What's going on, Angus? Out in Edmonton. And just real quick before we lose this comment due to bulk, a different topic. I saw your Fleet Manager show. Have you heard about the new firmware 55112? Fleet Manager shows it as necessary for my P200. So you have a ticket in about this, right? The Fleet Manager is for 4K fam and play right now. And so if you're seeing stuff coming across for cameras, it's actually just going to show you the camera settings and give you an option to get to the web UI right away. But from what I know, it is not doing any camera updates or anything like that yet. So that's the next iteration of Fleet Manager. And I've been having active conversations. You can trust me on this. I've been having very active conversations with the guys that are managing Fleet Manager and thinking about the next iteration of that. And so, yeah, we're definitely in the middle of talking to them about that, but it's not for cameras yet. So let me just pull open this and then I can say, share this.
Yeah.
So Fleet Manager launched on last Friday, and it is now for 4K family devices, so 4K quad, HDMI, and SDI, and then BirdDog Play. So if you want to push things, push updates or whatever, you can see the whole fleet here, but then the updates can be done for those 4 products. The next iteration of it is supposed to be for cameras and such, but we're waiting to see kind of like when that might be and what features will be included and everything. So thanks for checking out the Fleet Manager show. That was on Tuesday, if anybody's interested after this show to go and watch that one. But yes, the Fleet Manager is not for cameras yet. And so you still have to do the updates like old school from our download site for cameers.
I'm so excited about Fleet Manager. I
Yeah,
still
I
have
know,
to
it has, like,
update
so
my
much
units.
stinking
I'm
potential.
really excited to. It's
Yeah, we've actually had a lot of success even reviving units that were like stuck in. So one of my agents basically grabbed a whole bunch of graveyard units and started updating them with Fleet Manager. The interesting thing about Fleet Manager is it's basically a re-image because we're going from NDI4 to NDI5, which is a totally different process altogether, like a different set of firmwares. And so we're able to revive a ton of them. And it's pretty great because we really need some quads. So yeah, we were doing that the other day.
I have to do that with one of my units.
Yeah, there you go. Fleet Manager should be able to handle it for you.
Perfect.
I had a stream fail. Angus says, I had a stream fail this summer on a remote. We had a 4G and a 5G LTE plus a Starlink all bonded together. Yikes. The testing ran fine for hours, but the clouds rolled in and the area filled up with people. And when it came time to go live, there was no cell bandwidth left. And Starlink was very droppy-outy. What I would love to see is a variant of SRT with bandwidth adaptation for extra large latency buffers. I'd happily suffer through 60-second latency if it can be much more solid on a shaky network.
Well, then
for remote production, a bonded solution is needed.
Because I was just talking with one of our guys, JM, where he's pulling in my camera streams to Japan, I believe. He's there for a trade show. And it's the round trip time is about, I think, 120, 140 milliseconds, right? But, you know, realistically, you can get down to 2.5, 3 times that latency. But I told him, let's go 5 to 10 times. I said, let's just give that extra bandwidth. Like, let's have that buffer range. You know, God forbid something happens along the undersea cable and the ISP network hops or whatever it needs to do to get there. So in cloud, you get to fine tune that SRT buffer size. We have that as well as a playback transcode buffer. So it can, essentially there are 2 buffers in there, which we have the SRT buffer for that latency and to make sure the packets get there. And then on the other side, we have a transcode buffer where we go back from SRT to NDI. So if you want to even add another 12 frames or whatever it needs to be over there on that side, you can do that. So it's really customizable.
Hey,
so try checking it out, Angus.
Question for you is, can you through cloud manipulate like a BirdDog Play, like decoding? So like we can send a code to, we can send it through cloud, right? You can like bond it, but like not bond it, but you can like set it up so it pulls the same stream.
Yes, it can. So
how can can you customize that remotely though?
Do you have a bird? Well, let's see.
I do have a BirdDog Play.
I don't think, okay, so this is interesting.
Hang on, and 1 second. Angus just said, and more importantly, can I activate and deactivate a cloud subscription at will? I usually only do a couple of really tricky remotes a year. Yes, there is an on-demand option.
Yeah, we have monthly available. So if you know you're going to be streaming 2-3 times that month, we have that available as a monthly subscription.
Yes.
So right now it's not play because that's not showing up in my source list. It does work with my encoders, right? So if I have a flex input or my old school BirdDog Studios, my 4K HDMIs and SDIs, when those units, we can send the Bird UI across, just like I do for the camera stream, and be able to adjust the web UI and settings of the camera. I can do that with my encoders because they show up as sources in cloud. But yes, that's on our roadmap where we want to be able to trigger it from our decoders as well. Because I'm looking at your sources right now, and I can see the calendar. So let's see. Here, let me
that's an HD. That's a mini.
Switch my screen.
Let's see. BirdDog Mini is what that guy's on.
Let's see. Because this is an interesting one, because I like the ability to remotely control those streams, right? So let's pop on over here. Auburn Hills, right? We'll jump into there. This is my SRT outgoing connections. I want to send this to my Monterey endpoint. Let's see, here's the calendar, right? So we'll select that stream, and I'm going to select Bird UI, right? So
Yeah.
this is just the BirdDog interface for that calendar, right?
Yeah.
So I'll press connect. Let's see. We'll get a spinning wheel. We'll get that link icon. We don't get a thumbnail because there's no image that I'm sending through this link. And then down below in my cloud icon, which exists down in the toolbar over here, oh, that said no NDI sources found. So let's see. I'm just going to grab a camera for now.
Yeah, go for it.
Because I think that calendar isn't working. Because it said no
Possible.
NDI source found. So possible. So we'll see.
I
So
have
grab that
I'm all
there.
wireless now, so I'll just walk over there and check it.
Cool. So
It's here in my
now,
office.
here's this P200 in support. Right?
Nice.
So, so just to recap, we created an outgoing connection. We went to our SRT outputs. Oh, looks like that stopped sharing my screen. One more second.
NDI webcam.
NDI webcam, man.
It's not our product, folks.
It isn't. I wish I had a webcam product for this.
Sounds like BirdDog needs to come out with a webcam product.
It does sound like that, huh?
There we go.
Okay, all right, we're back, right? So I'm created an outgoing connection from Auburn Hills. I selected my Bird user interface. Down below in Cloud, I can jump into my UI and select my camera. And now I have my shadow cam. So John, if you want to do something fun, we can pull that camera into your vMix machine and change some camera settings.
Okay.
Right?
Give me a second here. Yep. I don't know where that camera, like which camera that's pointed at, so let me just look it up first.
Yeah.
This is one of our support cameras. I know that. So you said you took shadow?
I did.
Okay, so shadow's looking outside.
Cool.
Behind, I think it's behind Christian's desk.
Right.
So let's do this. Okay, so it's looking at the parking lot, although it's looking out through a window, so it's a little bit tricky. So
That's
this
okay.
is shadow here. There we go.
We'll change it up. Let's see.
And then I can even steer that one if needed. I'm trying to correct one of my cameras.
So
right
while
now.
you get that set up, I mean, I have the complete Bird user interface all set up.
Right on.
Waiting for the updater service. We're not trying to update right now. Unless one of your teammates just pushed an update service across.
Let me look.
That would be really funny.
That would be funny. It's like we're all working over here or something.
Who would have thought? I think
Who
Shadow is
would have
getting
thought?
updated because I can't get back into the regular interface of
Let
it.
me configure. No, it's on here. It's up.
Is it?
Yeah. Although it is running an internal firmware, so there may also be
Okay,
that
that
piece.
might be it. So we can go ahead and change that camera. So what would be a good camera to jump into?
Let's go up
Yes, Shadow went
and
offline.
do the PF120. That one. Yeah, that's our lobby camera.
Great.
Okay,
So
so I
grab
can
that.
pull that in.
We have
Easy.
the link. We'll
Yeah.
now switch over to the PF120.
NDI
Let's
source.
And see,
PF120.
I have that camera stream coming in over here. That's coming in on a local
Oh yeah, on your preview.
127.
Yeah.
Right, that's also on internal firmware. I can see the DHCP network of your side. And then,
This is the lobby camera here, and I will show that. Okay.
so let's see, logging in right now, back to this page.
And actually, what I'll do.
Cool. Oh,
This
this didn't log in.
Yeah. So that's hilarious because NDI webcam also crashed on me. I don't want to restart it because it's bringing my audio in, but yeah, it totally did. So let me throw this Studio 200 on there instead.
Oh, perfect. Okay, great. Oh, I mean, I have that stream coming through, right?
Yeah.
So I'm logged into the web interface of the PF120. That's remote in your office. I switched it over to manual. Let's open up that iris, get a little bit more light in there. Let's see. Let's pull that down to 1/30, and let's give this more gain, right? So I literally have remote control over your camera from my office space, right?
Yeah,
And
that's perfect.
If I wanted to do auto white balance, right? So now we got a little bit more warmth in there. If I wanted to go to my user and really try to dial in that white balance, usually I do this with the scopes and a chart, right? So you know, I never recommend eyeballing white balance. Our eyes do weird things on us. They really do. You'd be surprised if how our brains and our eyes trick us, and that way we need these tools like vector scopes and things to dial in that stream, right?
I've had it where I've been looking at and like trying to white balance something and looking at it for a long time, and then it's like, all right, I don't have a reference anymore. Like I can't balance this anymore. So
it's a thing. It happens, and it also depends on the light that you're in, right? Like if I'm in a warm room and I have warm lights hitting my computer screen, or then you sometimes can't even trust computer screens, right? So you have to really use the IP tools to really know what's true.
Yep.
So
crazy, man. Well, look, I could probably just talk to you all the way to 5 o'clock if I wanted to, because
and I have a meeting to jump into, so I think it's a perfect time to call it. I know.
All right.
No, but it's not boring. We get to really chat about some fun cloud projects and BirdDog projects and solutions and creating, helping our clients and customers and end users do what they do best, right? And that's create amazing content. So.
And it's all kind of evolving and changing and coming on real quick. So it's better that we chat more often and have a catch up every now and then so that we can at least keep up with the changes, because they are coming quick. And it's nice that you're finally home for a second.
Yes.
When's your next trip? When's your next BirdDog trip? Do you know?
I actually don't. I think I'm home for the remainder of the holidays. I mean, until the end of the year. There's a few local trips that I travel up to Silicon Valley a lot to showcase a lot of our camera workflows and cloud stuff. So those are fun day trips for me to get up there, get to see a lot of really cool spaces and a lot of amazing, there's a lot of people changing and what's required in their productions and how to take it to the next level. And it's just so thrilling that we get to be a part of it.
I agree. I'm excited. Well, let's plan to do this again, bud, and we can get this on the schedule at some point. But man, I really appreciate you spending time with us, and I'm sure people seem to be very receptive here. So I guess I'm going to be investigating cloud for sure. Thanks for the information, and I would 100% buy a BirdDog webcam.
Me too, buddy.
They're called PF120s, is what they're called. They could totally be a webcam.
It totally. It is. I know of a lot of clients that are using it as one. It's great.
I mean, I should literally have 4 of them in here. That's really what I need. I don't need the PTZ function in this office. I need them just to be stationary cameras and to have multiple angles around, because that's literally what all of these are, just different angles.
Yeah, you don't have those around. So
nope,
not usually.
No, they stay pretty stationary, which would be great to have. But anyway, we'll investigate that. Now my brain is thinking of ways to do some. I had some guys ask me some questions recently about like, well, this is kind of what we want to do, and now after today, it's like, okay, we can totally do it. It's just a matter of how much money do you have. So good times. Thanks, man. Really appreciate it. Thanks for stopping by. And yeah, we're gonna have you on again. Then if you're home and not going
Yes.
anywhere, then you're available, and we
Let's
should
do
do
it.
that before the end. Actually, what I want to do, I'll put this on your radar, is somewhere before Christmas, the Christmas break.
Yep.
I want to just have as many BirdDog guys on as we can, and kind of do like a
Yeah,
year.
we'll do an all hands.
wrap
I
up,
think that
sit
would be
down.
great.
Yeah.
I think that would be really
That'd be
fun.
fun.
That would be really
I
cool.
can
That's
have
a
up to
great
10
idea.
people on this thing, so we should totally
Great.
do that.
Let's do it.
Great. Well, I'll let you go,
Awesome.
bud. Thanks so much, and we will we'll chat with you again in well, hopefully soon, at least before the end of the year.
Perfect. Sounds great, John.
All right,
Talk to you
man.
soon.
Take care of yourself.
Take care.
All right, guys, we are going to wrap it up. Let's take care of this, and as always, be sure that you head over to birddogjohn.tv and subscribe to the show, because that is where everything we do happens right there. And so really appreciate Jake coming on here today and hanging out with us. Subscribe over there. Also check out his videos on Cloud, which are over on YouTube at BirdDog Australia. It's basically all the latest things that we have uploaded are all of his tutorials on how this is done. So feel free to jump over there and check out all his videos there. He's done a lot of work on explaining how Cloud works, and he's tried to break it up into bite-sized stuff so that you can kind of digest that easily. So be sure you hang out over there and find out, let me just check one thing here, and find out all you can about what's going on there. All right, I think I know what happened. Can you hear me now? I think my wireless pack died. The show has been going on. This one's good to go. But yeah, that's what happened. Okay, here we go. All right. So how long have I been off? Somebody tell me how long I've been off. Let me double check, because I think I know what happened. Yep. Okay, So definitely know what happened because my microphone receiver ran out of battery. So I'm going to use the RTG or the NTG2 to finish the show. How long have I been off? Angus, maybe you're the only one still watching. About a minute. Okay, so to recap, Snacks on Stream, yeah, we've got some interesting something or others to try. But thanks for the heads up, Angus. I really appreciate that. But yes, we've got I don't know if you heard this, but it says, hey, what's up? Another long day? Just try our yummy, spicy caramucho and say hi. So I'm not going to attempt that. I actually had come back from feeling ill today. So we're going to push those till Tuesday if they're still here. The office guys might eat them. So who knows? But it's always nice to have a backup microphone. My Rode receiver definitely died. Ran out of battery. So I'll plug that in after the show. I'll plug them both in, actually. And that should hopefully remedy that issue. Actually, I could plug it in right now. Oh, no, that's not USB-C. So I'll plug it in a second. Anyway, we're finishing up here anyway. So with the original Wireless Go, does it not act as a USB audio device? With the Go 2 and Pro, both can be plugged in and just used directly. So I don't know. I don't actually have a USB-C sitting here, but I do know that when I plug it in and then I bring it in via 3.5, it gives me like a high-pitched, like the power issue, right? So I impulse ball the Wireless Pro kit. The charging case is so nice. That would be nice. I think I left this on by accident and then it turned off on its own. When I turned it on today, it was only at half power. So I'm pretty sure I just ran the battery totally out. But that's for sure what happened. And yeah, I'll do better next time. And I won't let that happen again. So yeah, it is definitely unfortunate. All right, folks. Well, appreciate it. Thankfully, we've made it to the end, and so we didn't lose too much of the show, so that's always nice. But be sure to come back on Tuesday. Thursday we will not have a show because it'll be American Thanksgiving, and so Tuesday we'll do a show. Like I said, which you didn't probably hear, but I wish I had a turkey suit, but I don't. I would totally dress up as a turkey on that show, so maybe we can find something cheap on Amazon. No promises, no promises. But if we just do a quick little Amazon turkey suit. Let's see what options there are. Oh yeah, there's lots. For 35 bucks, it might be worth it. His and hers turkey suit. There's always that. So maybe if Mrs. Knutson wanted to be, your audio seems to be gone again. No, not again. Okay, it has come back. It's just a different microphone, so hopefully that's working. I'm listening to my own audio. You may just not be live. Like it's just a different microphone. Yeah, I'm definitely hearing it on YouTube. So hopefully it catches up. You're fine now. Okay. Phew. Awesome. All right. Well, anyways, we'll figure out what we're gonna do here for Thanksgiving. But on Thursday we will not be having a live show because we'll be off on holiday. So Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, the support desk is closed. So get your submissions in now. Actually, on Tuesday though will be our last live show, and then the next week we'll resume. So I don't know. I don't think I'm doing anything for Thanksgiving necessarily, like going away. So as fine as one can be with an NTG2 in a reflective space. Yeah. Okay. I guess. so bitter. Anyway, so then I'll wrap it up because my microphone is dead. So thank you so much for hanging out with us. Come back on Tuesday of next week. We will definitely do this again, at least from 11 to 12. And we'll have another show, another chance to hang out. And then we will finish out. We'll go and have a nice little Thanksgiving break for a few days, and we'll be back the following week. So hopefully you're doing well, and you're looking forward to the weekend. I know I am. We're doing a little traveling with the kids down to Nashville for another quick turn and burn trip down there. So it'll be a fast one, but we'll have a lot of fun, and the kids are really excited to go. So thankfully, I'm feeling back to my normal self, and that was only a 24-hour bug. But we will look for you next Tuesday at 11 o'clock right here at BirdDogJohn.tv. Don't forget to subscribe to that channel and also check out Jake's BirdDog Cloud videos. And then, yeah, we'll plan to see you then. So take care of yourselves until then. Take care of each other. Super important these days. And watch out for each other. And we'll see you guys on Tuesday at 11 o'clock right here at BirdDogJohn.tv. Take care. Bye.
Kids, you tried your best, and you failed miserably. The lesson is, never try.
Resistance is futile.